Welcome back to Plastic Surgery Untold, greatest podcast in the world, as voted by us. We've got our celebrity crew back again. And so let's just do a little check-in. Before we check in with everybody, though, today we're talking about Daxxify, which is something that I think we've brought up for the last 2 or 3 years in a row as coming projects or coming new exciting things. But this year it's finally here. It's actually been FDA approved, actually rolling out over the next 2 or 3 months. And so we're actually going to have a quick preview of it very, very shortly. So for our VIPs, you're going to get an early access to this. So just to give you guys a little bit of a teaser. But before we get into Daxxify, let's see what everybody's got going on. Gilbert, what's new and exciting with you? You're looking fine and damper in your green.
Thank you. Actually, I want to piggyback on what you just said about the VIPs. Like, how would someone become a VIP?
Ooh, that's a great question. So most of you know that we've already launched our app, and maybe Andrea will tell us a little bit more about the app shortly. But, if you're on our app, you actually get some exclusive invites to some of our events. If you're a member, which you can do through the app you get there, also get some discounts. So all sorts of fun stuff. So if you haven't checked out our APS Rewards app, very similar to the Starbucks Rewards app, except better, except cooler stuff. There's where it's all at. Sarah, what about you?
Yeah, lots of new things at the office, new app, like you said, new treatments. There's
I heard you destroyed Nashville.
Nashville is awesome and exciting. It was only my second or third time there, but I absolutely loved it. But yeah, we're just excited about the new things we can offer at the office and excited to tell you all about Daxi.
So funny that you brought up Nashville because Nashville is actually the headquarters of Events and Daxi. And so
what a great segue.
Yep, going to be there this weekend. So it'll be super fun and lots of cool stuff. So interesting that you brought that up. Nice tee up. Thank you. Andrea, what's going on? Thanks for coming all the way up from San Antonio and taking time away from your busy patients to see us. So appreciate you working us into your busy schedule.
Yeah, thank you. So,
what's going on new with you?
Nothing much. I just started school.
How's that going? What's going on?
I have to learn 206 bones for my class, so I'm kind of nervous for that.
That's exciting.
Wow.
Yeah.
You want Nurse Sarah to teach you?
Yes, please.
I don't know if I remember all the
And
bones.
for all your longtime viewers, some DMers, tell us what are you studying?
So I'm in my pre-nursing degree. So yeah, I think I'm 3 classes away from applying, so I'm super excited.
So
Congrats.
This is great.
Thank you.
Nothing makes me happier than when our team just keeps going, because I think all of us feel super passionate about learning, educating, and growing. And so some of Nurse Sarah's actually well on her way for her NP. Andrea's working on her nursing degree, and I doubt she'll stop there. So super fun. Now, Gilbert and I got to find something to study and learn. I've actually thought about going to the Kellogg School for there's this business degree stuff that I've been exploring. So hopefully find something to do on my free time. Get bored and have way too much free time. But
I've been looking into a PhD program.
Ooh, look at you! So,
cool.
He's a little one upper, but we'll talk about that another day. Here I am talking about a master's. He's talking about PhD. So boom. But let's jump right into Daxxify, because I know we've talked about this over and over. People are probably tired of us saying coming soon, but it's for real here. It's actually a thing, and so super exciting. Number one, what is it? What class of treatment is this? What does it do? Kick us off.
Yeah, so Daxxify is a neurotoxin, very similar to Botox, Dysport, Xeomin, Jeuveau. They're all neurotoxins, but it's actually a little bit different. It's a little special because of the way the neuromodulator is delivered to the target site. It actually uses a peptide to help deliver the molecule into the receptor site. And because of that, it slows down the degradation of the product, which essentially means that the Daxxify is going to last longer than some of the traditional neurotoxins that we're used to seeing.
That's super cool. And then tell us, Sarah, a little bit about this, because it's been in production for a long time. Who's going to be a good candidate for this?
Yeah, I'll tell you personally, I am super excited. It's perfect for anybody. We like to say it's going to be perfect for like the busy businesswoman or man, not just women. Perfect for somebody who's been doing neurotoxins. So maybe not if it's your very first time and you're a little anxious or nervous about it, because we're expecting that this is going to last about twice as long. So about 6, maybe more, months. So if it's your first time ever doing neurotoxin, that may be a little bit long, but if you're used to it, you love it. Maybe if you're not getting as much longevity out of some other products, we love switching things up for you. Or if it's hard to get into the office at quarterly every 3-4 months, this is perfect for you if you can go 6+ months between treatments. So all of the above.
I think it's gonna be great because then a lot of people come in, every 6 to 9 months for their either filler treatment, for their RF microneedling, for their other different treatments, and it's nice that for the business professional that you get on to a schedule that's a little bit easier because most people love their toxins. It's hard to come on. Other kind of unique thing about is the onset is going to be super exciting. Not that any of us ever procrastinate, but those of you that are in school probably know what I'm talking about. Burning the midnight oil, but talk to us a little bit about the onset as well.
It's projected to be faster than some of the traditional toxins or neuromodulators. In terms of how fast, I think that's going to vary from patient to patient. So I can't say, any definitive timeline, but I think a good range would be anywhere between 2 to 5 days versus the traditional onset, which I usually educate my patients is about 7 to 10, with, full onset at about 2 weeks.
And we're still not telling people to wait till the last minute. Not a great idea, but definitely a little bit nicer to be able to kind of come in, get stuff done and do that stuff because we still worry about bruising and other things like that.
Sure.
Does anyone want to share some of the history of Daxxify and actually why this took so long and what their initial thoughts were, and that's how they developed this peptide?
I'm familiar with the history.
Huh?
Are you familiar with the history?
Take it away, Gilbert. Tell us about it.
Super cool.
Yeah. So Revance, the company that makes Daxxify, initially had the idea to bring to market a neurotoxin that was topical versus injectable, which I think would have been just so innovative and game-changing in the aesthetic world. Unfortunately, I think it was in the phase 2 trials, they found that it just was not effective. They couldn't get the product transdermally or to pass through the skin as well as they originally planned. So they pivoted and started looking at it from the perspective of an injectable version of the same product, which is how we have Daxxify now. But there were some hiccups. Back in 2020, if you remember, there was a little incident that occurred called COVID that pretty much shut down the world for a little while. And this was around the time that Daxxify was going to be coming to market. And so the FDA had to do a site visit of their manufacturing plant. But because of COVID, they couldn't because everything was shut down. So it delayed things for so long. And so once things started getting rolling again and the FDA was finally able to do their site visit, make sure that everything was in compliance, that's how things started moving a little bit faster.
It's super cool because if you think about it, right? So they had an alternative approach, which made them think about, the toxin in a little bit different manner than anyone had before. And so they developed a separate peptide that the goal was to be able to, penetrate through the skins easily and seamlessly. And it works to a degree, but not where they had wanted to. But, they found that this peptide that they had created for a completely different purpose, but a very unique approach compared to other toxins, had this really great, and if you notice any parallels, we're talking about semaglutides earlier, which was initially rated to treat diabetics, and then found that people had such significant weight loss stuff. This is similar. So, didn't work as well going through the skin, though it does work a little bit, but the ability for it to be able to bind to these receptors and then to prevent the degradation. Because what happens with regular toxins is that your body breaks it down, the receptors get absorbed, and then you get new receptors and your muscle starts moving again. So I think that's super, super cool in terms of this. It'll be interesting to see how Andrea sees people over the next 6 to 9 months because it was made with this special peptide. A lot of people have started to see some skin changes and improved glow, some improved texture to their skin because of that special peptide stuff. So Andrea, it'll be interesting for you to give us an update 6 to 9 months as people are on this for a long period of time and see how it improves people's skin.
Yeah, and for a lot of my patients who are scared to get Botox, that's like my number one thing I tell them, you're going to have an amazing glow. Just try it. It's so easy. So yeah, that'll be very interesting. Because
a lot of people have some of these fine wrinkles and creases and wrinkles that they have that they can't get rid of. And there's only so much that you can do with things. So, definitely skincare should be a great portion, but the more you can be on this at the beginning, it's really hard to treat these deep wrinkles once they've kind of set in.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
I always tell people it's like folding a piece of paper. The more you fold it, the longer, the harder it is. And so we can get them out, but sometimes takes a while.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see with Daxxify, though, because I tell them if we are working on deep wrinkles, they need to come back right as they're starting to get movement back. Because if we start wrinkling or folding that paper again, they're going to set back in. So, just thinking through if this is going to last twice as long, hopefully we can start to fade those a little bit quicker.
That's super interesting because for most people, it's really, really hard to come back right at 3 months. And so
Right.
I wonder if some of these people who have deeper lines, this is going to be more effective just from a compliance standpoint. So,
Exactly.
I hadn't thought about that. Great point, nurse. Let's talk about, and we were talking a little bit before this, about kind of areas that I think we're super excited about, and maybe areas that we would stick with either a Botox, Dysport, or Xeomin stuff, because there's some really unique kind of things here. And we'll also talk about whether you can combine these and if you can switch from one to the other. So maybe if you guys can hit a few of those 4 questions I just threw out.
I do think that, we mentioned this earlier, if maybe you've been having, less longevity with your current product. I currently switch people back and forth between Botox, Dysport, Xeomin, just depending on the patient, right? I always talk with you about your goals, how it's been working for you, the feeling you're going for, because I do think that some feel slightly firmer, some feel, less firm. So I don't see any problem switching people over to Daxxify from something else. And I do think that if, obviously you're going to get more longevity because it lasts twice as long, but if you've been having some issues with that, I think you're the perfect candidate. And if for whatever reason you don't like it, no problem. We can always switch you back to your tried and true Botox, Dysport, or whatever it was.
And what about areas, Gilbert? Is there certain areas that you're super excited to try this? Maybe an area that you would stay with a traditional Botox, Dysport, Xeomin?
Yeah. So I'll tell you, the product itself is indicated for the glabella, which is in between the brows, and as of right now, that's the only indication it has. But as you well know, in medicine, it's an art, not a science. So we do kind of
An art and a science?
It could be an art and a science. We blur the lines a little bit. Is what I was going to get at. And so there's areas that can be treated that are not indicated that I think
Which
you will
is
do.
true for other toxins too.
Yeah. That I think
Almost everything we do.
yeah, that I think would benefit quite a bit, like the forehead, around the eyes. But I'll tell you, and I think we mentioned this in a previous episode, I really am excited to see how this would work on like platysmal bands, because those are a little difficult to treat sometimes, and they do tend to come back a little bit faster. So if you can knock them out for a longer period of time and give the patient a nicer, smoother neck, I think that'll make a big difference. I think you mentioned masseter muscles. I think that's a great area too, because for those patients that want a slimmer look to their face, or they have issues with jaw pain, I think it's just going to give them that benefit for a longer period of time as well.
And probably a better result, because the longer you can keep that muscle from doing stuff, the better you're going to be in terms of this.
I was going to say the area I'm super excited to use it is in like a lip flip, because when we're doing toxin around the mouth, typically it wears off quickly because we're always moving our mouth, chewing, talking. So you don't get as much longevity in general there. I feel like, to be honest, typically it's like 6 weeks, maybe, if you're lucky. So we'll see how long Daxxify lasts in that area, but we know it's going to be longer. So that's super exciting.
Definitely longer. And I think this is where the art of it's going to be, because, definitely someone who's had a lip flip, love it. I think it'd be great. I think someone who's never had some toxins injected around the mouth, I don't think I would do it for their first treatment, because some people absolutely love it. Some people don't love it as much. And so definitely want to make sure you're at a good spot with some of that. I thought somebody had mentioned hyperhidrosis, because that's a great one people do for like weddings, event stuff. It's just the amount of product you need for the short duration, sometimes is a little bit inhibitory. So, this may be open up a lot of doors for people. So that's kind of exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I feel like even for hyperhidrosis, you got more than the 3 or 4 months that you get for some of the muscle stuff. So we don't know yet, but it'll be interesting to see how long those areas could be treated with something, especially with its unique kind of skin properties and special peptide stuff. So that'll be something over the next 2 or 3 years for us to kind of see how long longevity that gets. People always wonder, the problem with checking out these longevities and some of these is it takes time to follow people for that long and make sure that they're in a great spot. But I think there's a lot of exciting spots with some of that.
Yeah. So stay tuned. That's exciting.
What about in terms of treatments themselves? Does the treatment change very much for people? Like is when they come into the office, is it going to be a different experience with Daxxify than it would be with Botox, Dysport, Xeomin for the patient?
For the patient, no. It's still the same procedural based treatment. I think what what we will see on our end, on the back end, is the unit conversion, I think, is going to be a little different. I'm not familiar with it 100%, but I do know that the unit conversion is just a little varied from what we're used to with Botox, Dysport, Xeomin.
It's funny because when they talk about it, and you guys will see this when you come to our office, there's kind of the Daxxify units, and then they've even, they come in initially because it's going to be, to make simplify for patients, they also have like a Daxxify equivalent to Botox unit stuff. So they have like the Botox conversion already, which is a table they've already made, and we'll share that with you guys when you come to the office. So you'll see kind of the Daxxify and then the equivalent like Botox units of it. So we've already simplified it for you guys. We'll have it that way. It's super easy. So this is what I typically get for Botox. This is what I need for this, but I'm going to get twice as long out of it. So I think that'll be super cool. I think people have had some worry about pricing. Actually, pretty pleasantly surprised. May spend a little bit more at that time, but when you think about it, being basically equivalent to almost 2 treatments, you're actually winning ahead a little bit stuff. So I think that was definitely a pleasant surprise for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I was worried about the price, but once we got some more knowledge on that, not quite twice. We're going to get twice longevity, but not quite twice the price. So I think you're going to win, like you said.
And then even from a time standpoint, if you think about, productivity lost, coming, even though we're super efficient, try to not make you guys wait, it still happens. Since we got Andrea here, just a question I get all the time. So if somebody's coming in because you are trying to make the most of your day and you're getting either skin pen, you're getting RF microneedling, you're getting a hydrofacial, what order would you do stuff in terms of, would you do your hydrofacial first? Would you do your Daxxify? Like, what order goes best? If I'm seeing Gilbert and Andrea, Sarah stuff, what do you guys typically recommend?
Yeah, so typically see me first because
you get to go first? Okay, cool. Yeah.
Always. I'm number one. We don't want the patient to lay down, as our injectors always tell us after Botox. So see me first because obviously they will be relaxing for a little bit and then they'll come and see their provider.
Okay. And is that true for just hydrofacial, skin pen, and kind of any treatment of the face? You would do that first before the toxin, but you can do the toxin right after?
I would agree with that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, do it same day. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Ooh, Peter, I'm sorry. We're not no birds were heard in the filming of this podcast, I promise. But I do think it's kind of nice because a lot of people do ask that question about timing and doing some of those stuff. How about, Daxxify in combination? Because we talked about some areas, let's say where somebody's really super excited. They've been doing their forehead brows for a long time, but they want to just sample a little bit of perioral toxin stuff. Can they do Daxxify for the glabella, brows, crow's feet, and then Botox or Dysport for their perioral lines? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll still carry all the brands, so we can definitely mix and match. Your injector will keep track of all that for you. We keep detailed notes. I don't see any reason why we couldn't do Daxxify in your upper face. Try something a little that will last a little bit less time, like Dysport, Botox in the lower face.
Yeah, if you're experimenting with a new area that you haven't treated before, these products, they pretty much stay in the area that they're injected. So you're not getting any kind of movement or dispersion of the product into other muscle groups that you're targeting.
I think there's just so many things that we're going to be able to explore and do. I think the art of the toxin is going to just even evolve more now that we have so many different options, so many different tools. So kind of depending what you want to do, I think, being able to combine this with our estheticians and kind of really working together. I think if you look at it, all the new stuff rolling out this year, the semaglutides, the changes in some of the RF microneedling stuff that has just gotten better in terms of a comfort. There's some micro coring stuff that's in the horizon that we'll talk about at another time. And then obviously the Daxxify, but trying to figure out a good order. And this is where I think when you do your initial consultation, really being kind of clear about your goals, because if we need to set you up to see our esthetician first, if we need to have you see one of the injectors first, making sure we have a good game plan in terms of all of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell everybody it's a journey. We can come up with a plan for the next year. We don't have to do it all today. And I love incorporating the estheticians, the surgeons, our internal medicine doctor. We love to kind of take care of you as a whole. So we'll come up with a plan, lay out the treatment plan for you. You'll know exactly when to come in and what we recommend first and next and all of the above.
Any other Daxxify nuggets that you guys would like to leave for your longtime viewers, sometime DMers?
I just honestly think it's going to be a game changer in the world of aesthetics. And I know we've said that already, but I just can't emphasize that point enough, that it's going to change the way we do things quite a bit.
I agree. One thing, I said this earlier and I wanted to make sure to mention it. So we talk about it for like the busy business person, but also I have a ton of patients that are moms and stay-at-home moms.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like same for them. It's so hard to get away from the kids or just like get a babysitter for you to come in. So I think for y'all too, this is going to be a game changer. I'll be sad that I won't see you as often, and hopefully we can come up with some other ways that I can see you. But just anybody who's looking to be more efficient with their time, which I think is all of us, this is going to be perfect for you.
Andrea, any last notes for all your fans?
You can see me every month.
She's like, come see me. Yes.
Well, I appreciate you guys joining today and talking about Daxxify. I know we've kind of held people in suspense for years, so I'm glad that it's finally here. We are going to have a VIP event. We'll send you guys some more information about that. So check on our website, check on our Instagram. We'll let you know how to become a Rewards app member so you can come to our special event in early access since you've already waited years for it. But Plastic Surgery Untold, wherever you get your favorite podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, and Pandora, and more. But those are some. And if you want to see our pretty faces, all nice and smooth with our toxin, feel free to check us out on YouTube. All right, we'll see you guys. Bye.
Bye.